This is the Budweiser, aka the commish of the Beer League 2.0. Coming you live with also the two other guests here, Mr. Broken Skull, aka Junior, and also
Hell
Mr.
yeah.
Eighth Wonder, aka Chris.
What it do?
I know we haven't been on for a little while. I do apologize for the busy lives that we all have, but
Making that money.
we have to segment off right. Who won last week? Or who won the last 2 weeks?
Well, I lost one and won one, so.
Yeah, it's 1-1-1.
I won one and won one.
And one. Oh, yeah. Oh, and then I face Budweiser this week, so what's up?
Yeah, you faced
Woo-woo.
Budweiser.
It's the
Yeah.
steak dinner game. Annual
Yeah.
tradition.
I don't feel too confident, but man, I'm gonna go for it. I mean, we can place a friendly bet. This season has been going down the drain for me. I don't know why.
I lost 2 in a row on Monday night after 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock. Keyword after 10 o'clock Monday night. So
Maybe you should stop going to bed at 5 and you would see these
I'm going to keep it
games on TV.
PG-13 right now. Okay. But Chris, well, you'll go with Broken Skull because he got a 1 win. I'll give you 30 seconds for the 1 win you got.
Thank you, Kyle Pitts. Thank you, Mike Will made it. Shout out to Justin Herbert for throwing him the ball. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Honestly, I thought I was going to lose, and it always showed that I was winning, but Guinness is a sneaky play. She had Josh Allen, so I was worried down to the last second. But shout out to Mike Will, my boy.
Are we giving Mike Williams a nickname? Mike Will made it?
I mean, he's making Justin Herbert.
Valid point.
I think that should be his name from now on. Mike Will made it.
I mean, that's what I like to call him.
Might be a producer that has a problem with it, but who cares what he feels like?
We own no type of form. Do we own the name or any entity associated with that? We're just giving him the nickname. Put that out there.
Go ahead, Mr. Eighth Wonder. 2-game win streak. Is that right? Or is it a 3-game win streak for you?
No, it's a 2-game win streak.
Okay.
And so sometimes you have to wake somebody up from a slumber, a nap, a sleep, some rest, some shut-eye. And that person was Budweiser. And it felt so good to hit that call and him hit the fake tired of, hello? Yeah, what? Oh, you know which one I'm talking about. And so when we get to hear that noise and suddenly he wakes up and says, I lost? What the? You knew it was just a game and it feels so good. And it's all right. I feel like the season is over. So I'm going to go ahead and pack it up this week and give somebody else a chance. Nah, we still got another week to NBA season.
Dang, that was said nah.
Oh, somebody else is getting it this week.
I guess that's all for it because I
You don't get to say anything. Be quiet.
anything.
This is the winner circle here, sir. You cannot speak.
Surprises actually the last couple of weeks. I know we, like I said, we've been gone for a little while, but I'm gonna throw in besides your go to your surprises of the last couple of weeks. 2 big games that happened, or actually 3 big games. Junior, you mentioned. One this last week was the Cleveland Browns and LA Chargers. Sorry, game was a big time blowout, shootouts that
I
happened.
thought it was the San Diego Chargers.
I say San Diego. You can say LA Chargers. The other game was the Monday Night Late game, which was with the Colts and the comeback Ravens of recently. The last couple of weeks, they've been coming back from behind. And then also, again, Junior Eighth, Mr. Broken Skull had mentioned about the Chiefs and the Bills game, which was probably the game of the week before the game started happening. Personally, I think this solidified. I always say that Josh Allen was the MVP candidate going into the season. Bills came to play. I think you got to take Bills as a contender for a Super Bowl.
I'll give you one more surprise.
Okay.
The Texans being up by, what was it, 22 points?
Was it 22 points? No, it's not 22 points.
No, they were up. I think they were up by 2 touchdowns, but they had 3 consecutive touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a surprise. How did we lose that?
No, you want to know what's not a surprise? After the flea flicker from the Little Giants, and I was like, oh no, we're up too high. Then I got the call down from the front office to be like, stop this. We need the first pick. And what happens on the next punt? Just a myth punt. Suddenly the punter forgets how to punt. It might be a coincidence, but that's really odd that we throw away that type of momentum.
Bro, I saw the highlights and I said, what was that? But one thing I will say, our quarterback did not look bad at all. He didn't turn over the ball. He had 0 turnovers, in case you guys didn't know. So that gives some hope. That gives some hope.
Hope against the Texans, or hope that
there's a future that our QB can grow if we decide to keep it.
Okay, there's an article actually could combat that, what you're saying about the Texans, David Mills, and the coaching staff of the Texans. I'm not saying the coaching staff of the Texans are bad. Actually, they've been doing better than what I could even think of, especially David Coley. I got to commend them. I always said at the beginning of the year, they brought in a nigga to come from the Houston organization. But Dave Mills performed good, but there's questions about Bill Belichick. Is he actually a good coach like he's supposed to be? Because the way they won last week against the Texans, they should have won. Because the way they're playing against the Brady and the Bucs, those are 2 different teams. How did David Mills perform so badly? My own mother said, did you see the game for the Texans against the Bills? I'm like, Mom, I don't know what to talk about. Did they even get positive yards? My mom said they didn't get positive yards. And I know they didn't get positive yards in the first half.
But, again, we're talking about the Bills. And the Bills they play good football on both sides of the ball. They just went into Arrowhead and destroyed them. For real, destroyed them. So you can't take that and say that they're not at an elite level right now, that they would demolish any team.
For the Bills?
Yeah.
I think you have to say that. I mean, because
so why would you be mad at the Texans losing so bad?
I'm not losing so – okay.
How they lost.
How they lost is I'm telling you. There's respect you can put – like I said, there's different
no
levels
respect
of play.
You can put on that name, sir.
There's no respect you can put on that name.
There's none. No respect.
There's none. I mean, you have to have positive yards. You have to come with a game plan. You're a professional. You have to come with a game plan to play like I said, Brandon Cooks, and they completely neuralize Brandon Cooks. But you have to know that because that's what the great coaches do. They neutralize your best asset.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Kelsey and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
McCall Hardman got 6-7 catches. I forgot. So, I mean, that just tells you they shut down everybody.
So the Chiefs understand that point, and they still put up points. They still got yardage. Every team so far has put up some kind of thing. The teams that weren't prepared, they got blanked against the Bills. And this has happened so far twice, and we're only 5 games in the season for the Bills. They blanked 2 teams twice.
Super Bowl contenders? I think so.
Yes, you have to, because the rest of the season for them, if you have a Bills player in your roster right now, or you have the Bills defense, you are smiling, and you most likely you're in the top 3 of your league.
I don't think so, but not Aaron.
I mean, quite frankly, look, okay, I'm pretty sure of all of us, you can ask anybody else who came on the thing, I'll ask that question. Do you have a Bills defense, or who's your Bills defense in your league? What rank are they right now?
In our league, I don't know because
I have Bills defense.
Because I don't think I have anybody on the Bills on my team.
Okay, so where are you at ranking then?
I'm horrible, but in my other leagues, I'm actually top 3 in my other leagues. So
do you have a Bills player in your team?
No.
Do you have Bills defense in your team?
No.
Mm-hmm. What about the other guys in the top 3?
I don't care about other people. I worry about myself.
Okay, you worry about yourself. And most likely have a Bills player on their squad.
No, but you're probably right. I mean, look. All I gotta say is, look, Melissa has Josh Allen. Guinness has Josh Allen, and where is she?
True.
Okay, and that's the guy you want to have if you want to have anybody.
I mean, do you want the defense? The defense putting up more points than the QB sometimes.
Sometimes, but Josh Allen is consistent.
We're 5 games in the season.
Bro, he put up 60 points. I haven't seen a defense put up 60 points.
Their defense put up 40 points in our league twice.
So as the Denver Broncos put forward for 40 points, bro.
Twice?
I haven't looked.
No, they haven't. That's the thing.
He was gonna ride with it.
I sure was.
You should have let that ring go. Sometimes you gotta fight on the line and ride with it.
But I get your point.
Do you have any Texan players on your team?
No.
Do I?
Okay, that's balanced.
I do. I do.
No Bills, no Texans. He's right in the middle. Balance. That's how you get there.
I will say, in a couple of other leagues, I do have Texans defensive player because I know they're going to be in the field the whole game.
The whole game. They're going to get touches.
Yeah, that's important, right. I guess.
So I was watching a movie with Christopher this weekend, and y'all might have seen it before. It's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah.
About a kid who just all he wants in life is achievement, goals, and like something to touch that's unique for him. You want to know who the Texans are in this analogy? That bum-ass grandpa who didn't decide to walk until he found out he's going to the chocolate factory. That's who the Texans are right now. We have Mills back there being Charlie, this young kid with the future ahead of him. Meanwhile, the entire organization is the grandpa who only wants to get up when we need something to do. That gives us no hope. And the Bills, if Detroit didn't exist, the Texans would be in the gutter. But the Lions are still here, and they look like they're the new Jets. So that's going to be my hot pick for the week, whoever the Lions play.
I mean, that's a discussion we can have later on about who's the worst team. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you got to look at the Jaguars are pretty bad. They don't know what's working, and they know what's working. They just don't refuse to go that route. I'm not sure what's bad for them. The Texans, I would say, at least are trying.
Are they?
To a degree, yes.
I mean, Chicago Bears have won 2 games, bro. Come on.
Jaguars
in a row.
But they have better pieces. They have a lot better pieces than the Texans.
But they're not even using them.
Correct. I'm not going to.
They're not even using them. Allen Robinson, a guy who should be commanding 10 looks. Come on.
Yeah.
At least.
Look at the Jaguars, though.
What about
the Jaguars? Just seem their coach bad. They're like a Disney movie waiting to happen. Like their coach comes in and riles them up, and they knock off.
I want one too. Bring one over here.
Yeah, the Jaguars are bad, but man, you know who's probably the maddest at this story from Las Vegas is Urban Meyer, because now he ain't getting fired. The entire league is thinking about something else, right? So, when he was like, "I got this young girl, and we're gonna get me to California," and Gruden had to mess it up.
So it's this way. So for fantasy purposes, there was talk about Urban Meyer for the last couple of weeks about him and this girl before he went to the Jacksonville. That one of his restaurants, I think, was it
during the it was right after the Cincinnati loss because he stayed in Ohio.
But he has restaurants that he works with or he owns.
He owns. And
the girl worked for him or the restaurant.
I don't know if she's employed by the restaurant, but
she's employed because the mother is sick. There's an article actually on it that she's embarrassed, she's in shock, that she's depressed. And the mother is saying that she cannot go back to work because she's getting a lot of death threats.
Wow.
Whatever. Ain't nobody threatening death threats. Like, go to the cops and get death threats. Ain't nobody giving death threats.
To think it, though, for fantasy purposes, the Jaguars are still playing like the Jaguars.
No, they're getting points. You have players on their team that can get you points.
But
Like in real life, yes, they're the Jaguars.
But the Raiders.
Football, they got some players.
They do have players. James Robinson is actually performing better since this whole thing worked out.
Absolutely,
And I love it because he deserved to be playing because he's actually working. They finally found it's working, and if they use it correctly, he's actually working. And they're throwing to Laviska Shenault, which is the good key for them because it's not the right thing for them. And the quarterback from Trevor Lawrence, rookie QB, is not going to throw downfield all the way. We know that.
Yeah, he's not ready for NFL defensive packages on a full-time basis.
Nothing against Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be a decent or great QB. I think he'd be on the level of, I'm not going to say Phillip Rivers yet, but I think he'd be on the level of, I think he's on the right track. I'll put it this way. He's on the right track.
If he's on Phillip Rivers level, that's a perfect use of a first pick. You get a starter that's got to be for your team for a decade plus. That's a great use of a first pick.
Yeah, I think Phillip Rivers is a great, not standard, but I think it's a great bar for a first-round QB. If you are a level of that caliber, I give it to you 100%. Tough as nails. Injury comes, still plays. He stays with your team for the longevity of it, make it work and go through. You build around him. That's why I say standard for a first-round QB, what it should be. Now, of course, you think first-round pick should be like a Peyton Manning or a Justin Herbert or whatever it is. No, that's almost.
Didn't we say that Justin Herbert was, I guess, predicted to go first round, but then I think, what was it, Joe Burrow overshadowed him?
He came back to college, and Joe Burrow just went ham.
So,
got a championship.
Yeah, but
it was more than a championship he did, but yeah.
But Justin Herbert definitely shows first round category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. It was a no-brainer. He did show first round category for like 3 years in college. But at the same time, though, is again, we're saying any QB who dropped in the first round should have the bar set as Phillip Rivers, not Peyton Manning. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah. That's very fair.
So, but the thing is, like you said about the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is performing good enough to what that he has around him and that coach he has.
He's not the reason they're bad.
No, he is not. Put that into what's going on with Las Vegas and the Raiders and the Gruden situation. Oh boy. This Gruden mess is a mess. And it's not just a mess from the whole politics of football and the actual emails and the stuff that's going on. We're not going to get too much involved in that. It might be misinformation. But that situation going on in Las Vegas is affecting fantasy-wise for the organization right now as well.
I had a comment on that. So it was my understanding that when this happened, and I'm not defending anybody or taking anybody's side. It's just something to I guess, get your guys' opinions, or if you guys are knowledgeable of this. My understanding was that when this happened, he had no correlation to the NFL.
That's true.
So
no correlation. We mean correlation.
He wasn't getting paid. He wasn't getting paid by the NFL at the time.
That is true. He was not getting paid.
He wasn't. That was my understanding.
He definitely does consulting, but not like getting paid as a coach.
Right.
But he was definitely part of multiple organizations and consulting roles. But this wasn't from his ESPN email. It was from John Gruden at gmail.com email. But he was sending it to someone's work email.
Right. But that was my whole point. Like, so he was getting paid by NFL teams, but not by the NFL exactly. So
correct.
There's nothing wrong with consulting outside your organization.
Right. But I was just saying, it seemed like, and then whatever he did or said, was wrong. I was just saying, like, man, that's crazy that they went that deep into it and found out. But what's funny is that they weren't really looking for that. They were looking for other stuff. And then that came out. So out of the 1 million emails, his email was like, oh, wait, we also have this.
I think it just been not very wrong. I'm reading and what I'm hearing is that it came out, he played it wrong at first and they dug deeper. And realistically, it wasn't his fault too much of how they dug in. It was mostly from a fallout, like Chris said, is the fallout from someone else being investigated, and
that's
that's
what I'm
how
saying.
it came into it.
Yeah, isn't that what happened? They were investigating a team, and sorry that I don't know, I forgot. They were investigating
the football team.
Yeah, they were investigating the Washington football team, and then he just so happened to be in one of those emails. That's how it came about it.
And the more I find out, not only does he so happen, somehow this is the only email that New York Times and Washington Post has. And Washington Post being owned by Jeff Bezos, who wants a football team more than anything. Mm-hmm. And one of the easiest teams you could probably get is maybe getting Snyder pushed out. Because the way they released that this letter, like the first email, it came out Friday, none of us cared. A little more came out Saturday, none of us cared. It kind of like Sunday, Monday, they were like, whoa. The whole world cared once it got to the New York Times. Someone's trying to make a point. I still think there's more. There's something so much deeper for you to leave $60 million on the table. Like, since when do the Raiders not fight?
Oh,
I think they said. I think it wasn't that he had that. I think it was the fact of when it got brought up to his attention, he downplayed it to a degree where he was kind of like, dude, that's like nothing. And it kind of made the other person, okay, well, that's nothing. What's all the other stuff you had in here?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on one side is like some of the stuff people were outraged about. It was like other people said similar. Maybe they didn't use the slurs, but they definitely intimated a lot of the things that he was referencing. Defensive player of the year for the SEC.
Yeah.
But there were other people commenting on that said stuff very similar. You can't draft this guy for whatever reason. Gruden just went too far like he did with everything in that email.
But
that's too far. Like, dude.
But we're going to say, though, it's like Gruden at the time was not an NFL working person. He was a consultant. So he's telling you, like, it's like saying, like, Junior, you're going to tell me what it is real for real. You know, it's a shit. It's whatever it is. It is what it is. You're going to tell me flat out, verbatim what you feel like.
Yeah, you're giving your honest opinion. You're like, here, you have the reins of saying whatever you feel like saying.
What you want to say. The show is something we got to watch what we say. But if I'm going to talk to you, Chris and Junior, curse and other thing out loud.
But the difference between you two and John Gruden, you two would not take a job as a consultant for whatever industry you're an expert in, and not only like send that back to the organization you're consulting for to their official email. You might call up your homie who hired you and be like, I'm sending you the thing. I need you to read between the lines because this month. You don't send that in an official capacity of any type to a work email of somebody. Yeah, that's out of line. Like for anybody to say, well, anyone could have done that. No, people don't do that. Like we're underestimating how stupid this was.
I agree. You know what I would like to ask a player that already got paid and that is not white, that is in the locker room of the Las Vegas Raiders. How does he feel about it? He doesn't have to bite his tongue. How does he feel about it?
Who's that?
No, I'm just saying I would like to ask a player, a black player, basically, because we all know what's going on, and say, hey man, how do you feel about this?
But most of the players in NFL are mostly 60% black.
Yeah, but players in the NFL don't talk about that type of stuff because it's so easy to get in trouble for it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Someone that already got paid, that has his contract, that he's signed up for a contract.
Look at what happened last game. They should have won last game. They should have beat the Bears. We all know they should have beat the Bears. The Bears were a tough team. They played. The defense is not like the best, but the defense is stout. Just midfield, they're going to be running the ball. They didn't have David Montgomery. Yeah, backup running back. So this should have been an easy, not easy, but it should have been a good win for the Vegas.
And I thought the same thing. I thought it was going to be a bounce back game for Derek Carr, and boy, was I wrong. I even told you, I said, man, I think Joe Burrow is going to have a harder time with the Packers' defensive line than Derek Carr is.
Yeah.
And I was totally wrong.
Well, so one thing I'll add is the Raiders have known for a long time. And the reason I say that is think of all the people that just kept leaving this team all summer and they didn't give any reason. Like team presidents, team GMs, teams executives. They didn't say why. They never said a thing. Players were leaving. And then this drops in the first 4 weeks. They knew something was coming down the tube. That something has been happening behind the scenes for an entire executive squad to leave, not write a tell-all or leak information. And then this comes out, and now that guy that was hired to be the face for 10 years is gone instantly without pay.
That makes a lot of sense. I can't even argue.
You're right.
And so,
he brought that up. Yeah, he brought that up.
And when the team is bad like they are, it makes sense. There's been something going on which says you might put another coach in there and they might get it turned around just by being like a positive atmosphere and be like, damn, we're no longer worried about what we're hearing. Let's just go out there and play, dudes.
Yeah.
But for them, they're not playing. They're not playing. Derek Carr looks frustrated. He looked down like depressed almost on that sideline.
Jesus.
He did. You look at a couple of plays, he looked down like fuck. Sorry for my language, but he looked like he looked slouchy on the bench. He looked frustrated. It wasn't from a defensive standpoint frustrated. It just felt like things just ain't working like he's supposed to be. And a lot of players seem like it wasn't going that route either. I mean, there's a play. He threw a beautiful pass in the right spot. Defense played it well. I want to give him credit. Defense played them well. Chicago played them well. But if they can beat the Ravens, they can keep up with all the other good teams that have early in the season, they should have beat the Bears.
Yeah,
easily.
I agree.
Yeah. But Derek Carr was going to be gone regardless. And now this is for certain that he's gone this offseason somewhere else just to start over.
Mm-hmm. The coach is not going to want him there.
Yeah, hopefully not the Texans. I don't need another Carr here.
So, now I know we're in the first quarter of the season.
Exactly.
Who is your MVP so far?
Justin Herbert.
Oh, now you're Mr. Justin Herbert?
What are you talking about?
Justin Herbert?
What? I'm so happy that he is balling now.
You were missing top 5 2 weeks ago.
He was. Compared to
who
was available, who to what numbers were up.
Yeah.
He was not in the conversation. It goes week by week. And it's been 2 weeks. Look at that. 2 weeks. So now there's much more data.
I told you Justin Herbert deserved to be in top 5 because of one reason. He had a lot of touchdowns called back the first 3 weeks. A lot of touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns called back. The 3 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks, he would have been blowing up at least one of those games.
That is fine. But at that moment, he didn't have him.
Oh, man, you're reading too much into the stats, bro. Too much into the stats.
That's fine. But Justin Herbert. We agree that he is. At least I do. And you.
Now you do.
Of course.
Now you do.
Of course. And I even agree with Josh Allen. I agree.
Oh, now you agree with Josh Allen now.
I agree. I'm a man, and a real man admits. Yes, I didn't doubt him. I was just at the moment. I didn't see it.
I'm a man. I'm over 40.
I had a conversation with you 2 weeks ago, and you said I don't see Josh Allen as great or a top tier QB. I don't see him as the MVP.
And man, after Sunday night, man, that boy changed my mind. That boy said, "Hey, Junior, I'm talking to you." That boy took a hurdle, ran over people. Man, and it's not just that he did it; it's who he did it against as well. that's even more impressive. So, props, shout out to him and all respect. I'm not gonna hate on him.
So your MVP right now is Josh Allen, or you're gonna be?
It's Herbert. Herbert.
Wow, 2 weeks he changed. He's a changed man. Changed man here. Justin Herbert's a top tier QB.
Sir, I seen it from the beginning, but this year, a lot of people turned up, and you can't not lie. You can't say that that's not true.
That's always the beginning of the year. There's always someone going to turn up. Like I said, Tyler Murray, you were on Kyler Murray so much that he deserved it. This and that. I said, bro,
he does. He still does.
One good game. He had one good game.
No, he still does. They're still, a candidate. That doesn't mean that they're going to be at the end of the year. You'll see who really is the MVP.
You made me Google his numbers, and I said, yeah.
And then you agreed, and you still didn't want to agree.
I have to agree. The stats don't lie. At that certain time,
and that's what I'm saying.
Right then and there.
And that's exactly
this time and this year.
Okay.
His numbers at that time, yes, he's number one. I said, okay, well,
and that's exactly what I'm saying. Logic,
yes, I have to consider him at number one. But
and that's what I was saying about Herbert.
Long term, I knew Herbert was better QB than Murray.
Oh, dude, I saw that since the beginning before he even played. Remember, I was like, Herbert. Do we have to go to like season 1, episode 2 or 3 when Tyrod Taylor got injured, and I was like, Justin Herbert.
hey, hang on a second. I'm sorry, y'all keep going.
Oh, okay, fine. Hey, Chris, who's your MVP candidate?
In real league or fantasy? In fantasy, it's going to be Kyler Murray, and I'm biased because he is on the team. In the real league, Tom Brady or Mike Williams, because like Mike Williams, that would be a approved player award if they really had one, because he's dominating, and that's really helping out that team. And Herbert having somebody to throw to, that's a huge difference. But Tom Brady, it's unreal.
It is, though.
Dude shouldn't be this good at this.
And that's
like,
bro, and that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so did anybody even consider Tom Brady at the beginning of the year? Like, oh, we should draft him. He's going to be a target quarterback. Nobody.
Well,
I didn't.
Because I think we all have the same concept of eventually it's going to fall off, right?
Yeah.
He has to.
Yeah.
And he does have to, but maybe it'll be when he's 50, because at this pace.
Yeah, when he retires, it'll be done.
Yeah, finally he gets no yards.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. He's not playing anymore. We're good.
Right? Like seeing the way Antonio Brown has come back to be a dominant receiver, only Brady could have fixed that. And Brady might be the best coach in the NFL or the best GM, because he told Bill Belichick just work with the dude.
Yeah.
And he gave him the game plan, and now it's working. So, but yeah, the Mike Williams is by far the biggest surprise this year. That he's averaging almost a touchdown a game, or a little more than a touchdown a game, and only one game with less than 100 yards.
Yeah, and Deebo Samuel also has been he's been looking good. Speaking of receivers that were kind of left off the radar, I think a lot of people didn't. Well, at least I didn't hear much buzz about Deebo Samuel, and in my other league, people were like, "Oh, you picked him up." When I drafted him, they're like, "Deebo," they're like, "What the heck?" And I'm like, "Mike Williams," they're like, "What the heck?" Like, they're looking at me crazy. I have Deebo Samuel and Mike Williams in one league.
Wow,
you're killing it. You're killing it right now.
with Kyler Murray and Mike Evans, bro. Dude, if I don't win that league, I'll be upset. Like, I think I drafted very well. And people were just looking at me like, "Dude, you're crazy. You're dumb." And I'm just like, man, these people, are y'all seriously forgetting how big these guys are? How well they play when they're healthy? And I'm just hoping they stay healthy, because that's another thing too. These guys are injury a little prone, not big time, but they did miss out quite a bit of games. I know Deebo missed probably like the whole season, if not like at least like
8 games.
Yeah, half the season. And Mike Williams was like injured for like on and off. Yeah, so but man, they're looking great. I know it's Mike Williams' contract year, so he has to ball out. And I don't know.
Is he in contract for the extension this year?
Yep.
Ooh,
Yep.
That's why he's balling out so much. I always say get players in contract years because why? They will always ball out.
I don't know about Debo Samuel, but man, he's doing a great job too.
He's
So
not. No, he's not in contract year. I think next
yeah,
year will be his contract year.
yeah. So
I, when we're talking strategy in the beginning of the year with keepers, maybe this is something everybody else should reflect on at the beginning of next year. That you think where Mike Williams got drafted, he's eligible for that keeper slot. He's going to provide value if even 75% of this next year.
oh yeah,
So there's some flexibility there when you're looking at your players that aren't in the first 2 rounds, but still add heavy value. And you believe in a quarterback like Herbert that nobody ever mentioned on the show before this episode, then you should look at the wide receivers.
I'm looking at
When was he
thing.
drafted? I think
I'm looking
it's
right
around
now.
if I have to guess, 5th round.
Broken Skull, you drafted
he was kind of late,
him,
actually.
right?
Yeah, he was kind of late actually. I want to say it was like the 6th round.
Okay.
It's actually 13th round.
Oh,
Wow. So you got great value because the
You got great
preseason
value.
rank had him at 88. And so maybe people were confused on the
you got-
other Mike
that's like
Williams from years
130th
ago.
pick. 130th pick for you.
so and then Debo Samuel was actually I was getting him before that, and I think I drafted someone else, and
Debo Samuels went actually 5 picks before you picked up Mike Williams.
yeah. Well, I was gonna pick up Debo first, and then Mike will.
Yeah, you had the back-to-back picks, so yeah, you got it. Extremely, I think you probably should have been winning more games with that.
Yeah.
Hey, but
So-
now the season has really started. We're past week 4. Defenses have caught up. Quarterback.
Five.
Well, technically it's right. You could have let me roll. It's past week 4. It's also past week 5. But
I will say my MVP. I have a couple different positions. One, I have to give it to Brady this one time. I'm not a fan of Brady, but I have to give respect when respect is due to a great athlete like Brady. Guy is 44? And this guy,
110.
he's balling better than 20-year-olds.
He's balling better than everyone in the league.
Almost. So Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson came on this week. But the guy is balling
Josh
consistently. Josh Allen, if I had to rank him right now, Josh Allen will, as of this year, stats only, Josh Allen would be my number 3.
Not number 4. He's top 5 for sure.
He's top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll say he'd be around 3 or 4. Mahomes is taking a step back on the stats, but Brady is blowing the numbers out the water consistently. He had one bad game, I would say, against the Pats, but that's kind of a trap game with it being so familiar and everything else. But Brady's been performing like lights out. It's like easy 50 points for him in our league every single game. And then also you have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is cooking. He had that one. He had the first bad game against Arizona where they just obliterated. You may second guess about Derrick Henry. He always has slow starts. Derrick Henry is balling, and they are running him into the ground. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing for you long term in the season. But right now, if you drafted Derrick Henry with your first pick, you are great. And I always, actually, in my rankings this year, I didn't have Chris McCaffrey number 1. Derrick Henry was my number 1 guy to go get. It wasn't a can't miss. He was a not can't miss player, I would say. But if I had to rank the players in all, Derrick Henry was number 1 on my list over Christian McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook. And he's proving you why. I think he had 150 yards each the last 3 games.
Not sure if those stats are correct, but for sure 100, over 100 for
Over
sure.
100 the last 4 games, for
sure.
sure. And he had 2 touchdowns at least the last 4 games.
Oh man, the dude's a beast. I remember like when we barely started, I was like, man, King Henry, and I was like, when is he blowing up? And then bam, it took this long for him to blow up. So Jesus, you just gotta hang in there sometimes.
The other guys I would say have been waiting for me. MVP wise, I've been saying is, like you said, Mike Will made it. And he made the MVP list. I would say that for sure. For fantasy.
I like that.
Like,
like
damn, Mike Will. Every week, my notification goes off because I Justin Herbert is my QB.
And then mine goes off with Mike Will. So this
Mike
would be an interesting game between me and you.
Yeah, because my QB is throwing to your guy most of the time. So
and Keenan Allen. So I mean, you're kind of like you like literally are. We're conjoined. Like we're right there. There's no other option.
Oh, it's Austin Eckler. He's been throwing to recently now too. But
yeah, but
my other surprise if I'm going to get the wild card on MVP would be how good the Buffalo defense. I hate to be tooting my own horn on this, but the Buffalo defense has been playing even better than what I thought they were. They weren't actually ranked a top 5 defense pre-season, but they're performing as the number 1 defense. Probably.
Man, he was getting really into it.
He sure was.
It was
one thing I did want to add. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I did want to add one thing though. You talking about surprises? Kyle Pitts finally had a breakout game, so I just want to put that out there. I just want to put that out there.
Waiting for that.
Everybody been waiting for that. Everybody been waiting. As soon as he scored a touchdown, the whole world went off. It's like he finally scored. It's like he finally lost his virginity on this shit.
Jesus. But I'm happy for that.
But yeah, no, the Buffalo team, I think we all know who the true person we have to thank, and that's Griselda Records and West Side Gun and Conway the Machine. When you bring that real gangsta music back, the team responds accordingly. So thank you, Griselda Records, Buffalo own. That's the hard-hitting analysis you get from Beer League 2.0.
So, disappointment so far this year for you?
The Texans.
Is that disappointment, really? We just expect.
Yeah.
He's so for real. Yeah.
We have one wide receiver and we ain't throwing to him.
Oh, because you drafted him? All right.
Texans are a disappointment. That's my disappointment. But it would have to be the Jaguars. Like, I just assumed after Urban Meyer being able to adjust everywhere, I thought he'd be able to come in and run an NFL offense and not try to bring a college offense to the league and get crushed trying to do that 50-50 balance. Hopefully that'll change with these coming weeks in development, but I just expect it better from him because he started with all the positive equity of being a winner. He comes in wherever he went, the program got better, and this is the first time I think we've ever seen it get dramatically worse.
Yeah, that's one thing. He got dramatic. It's getting worse. It's getting worse in Jacksonville.
So that's super disappointing. But I would say that other one, y'all mentioned it early, is Bill Belichick. Like, is it over? Has it been over and we just didn't know? But it might be, or maybe he's just old.
Ugh.
He's been winning championships since the Giants.
Man. Jamal, who's your disappointment? He's looking for them.
Windows open?
Yeah, I'm looking for some. I'm looking for some.
Honestly, look.
There's quite a few. I'm not going to lie to you. There's quite a few.
Clearly, yes, you're just clicking.
Yeah, I'm clicking. I'm clicking because I'm trying to figure out which the best one I can say disappointment. I mean, I'm not expected. I'm not surprised at it. But Christian McCaffrey. I had a feeling in my gut that he was going to be not worth the number 1 pick. And that's why I always said I had Derrick Henry number 1. He's proving me right on that point. I would say disappointment. I'm disappointed that he didn't prove me wrong. The guy is talented. He bulked up. He did it for the first, 2-3 years? And he got paid, and next thing you know, it's like crap. It's just crap. And I feel sorry for fantasy owners who actually take him on number 1. One is Corona. I thought it was gonna be a good game with them. Like the first series, he went out, and Corona already texted me during the show. Was like, "Hey, congratulations, you won," because my number one player went out.
That easy.
That easy. It wasn't even the first quarter of the whole weekend. It was a Thursday night. He texted me in the first quarter, "Congratulations, you won," because he's already out. He's already out. A couple other guys, say a disappointment. I mean, it's a lot of players. A couple players you could say disappointment, but I'm really shocked with how Atlanta is playing. Really, Patterson is a surprise. Cordell Patterson. Why aren't Mike Davis getting the ball more? And we know he can make it work.
That is true.
Why isn't Calvin Ridley getting the ball? Why are we going these special packages for Cordell Patterson and Atlanta defense?
But he's not even playing 50% of the snaps. They just got a couple plays for him, and he makes these amazing plays. That
I'm not going to lie to you. Cordell Patterson is playing remarkably well.
Yeah, but they're not. But he's not there. He's like 34% of the snaps, and he's still getting the ball. He's getting these design plays for him, like you said.
He's playing. I mean, right now, I think he's up for a King Vulture of the 20 decade.
Well, I mean, if you have him, it's a must start. It's a good flex.
Every time.
Whatever. Yeah.
I think he's up for King of the 20 decade Vulture of the decade.
Yeah.
But Mike Davis, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts.
Well,
these guys have not performed at all.
Well, Calvin Ridley's been hurt.
1 week so far.
Well, yeah. Hopefully he recovers after this week.
So how many points has he? I mean, quite frankly, Calvin Ridley been seen the last couple of years has put up numbers.
Yeah.
He hasn't this year so far. I'm waiting for it to happen. And I think he has it in him to perform. I'm waiting for it to happen. Kyle Pitts, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. He's the biggest man on your TV when you're watching the game. He finally scores. Why did it take them 5 weeks to score?
Because Calvin Ridley wasn't there.
Why? He's the biggest man on the field. He's bigger than lineman.
That's what happened, though. You're asking them. That's what happened.
The guy's a foot taller than the defender. How are you not throwing the ball? A foot taller. And not just the shoe size. He's just a foot taller from the shoulders up. Actually, from the mid-chest up. But, yeah. You can't throw him the ball up? Mike Davis is a pounding running back. You can't give him the ball for 20 times a game at least once? Once?
That's what happens, bro.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not paid that much $millions of dollars to run the offense. It's not my job. I run my little store in Willowbrook area, and that's me. But,
you'll see me this weekend.
I don't know. That's the frustrating part because I had a lot of optimism about the Falcons offense being there because there's going to be a lot of shootouts with them. The defense is weak, but the frustrating part is if you had Cordell Patterson, you picked him up after the week 1 or week 2, congratulations. But everyone else, the drafted Falcons, I mean, I feel your pain, and that's a disappointment, I'll say.
My one disappointment, since, I mean, everything's a given. You know what teams are going to be good and what teams aren't.
Yeah.
I wish Saquon Barkley would have stayed on the field. And I don't even own him. He's just something awesome to watch.
Yes, he is.
So I'm just thinking, dang, he's hurt. Man, I was really hoping to see this guy in action. But unfortunately, I think he's going to miss a couple weeks, which brings me up to a waiver wire pickup, Devonta Booker. Pick him up. He actually did pretty decent. He really did. And so did, help me out with this, Kadarius.
No, Kadarius.
Tony. There you go. Those two guys. I mean, the Giants are hurt, but these two guys are the ones showing up. Definitely. I think out of those two, Devonta Booker is worth an ad, as a flex if you're hurting. If you need something, like, hey, man, I think he's hot. Pick him up.
No, you're on waiver wire right now, Mo, because you're the waiver wire king. That title, king. I'm going to get Blue Moon on the show just to take the title away from you for a week.
That's perfect.
But I'm gonna comment on that waiver wire pickup by Kadarius Toney. He did in the last game against the Cowboys, got into a fist fight. Well, not a fist fight, but he did throw a close fist punch at a Cowboy player near the end of the game, and he also got injured in the game. But remember, Kadarius Toney was a first-round pick. He had problems in training camp. The first 2 weeks, he was pretty much a no-show, -2 yards total in the first 2 games. Out of nowhere, since injuries happened to the Giants, he blew up. And then the Cowboys game, he pretty much blew up like nobody knew who he was, and just had 8 catches, 160, and a touchdown, and a couple of beautiful
which is
catches,
what they wanted from him.
Which is what they expected of him. A lot of people in draft circles who I've been hearing this was a reach. Apparently not. The guy was leaving defenders. There's ways you play some players. This guy, Kadarius Toney, if you actually pick him up this week, I'll suggest you do it. He was gapping. There's card racing. He's gapping some players at least by 10 yards on some catches. And 10 yards is quite a bit. And he's playing like.
And this is NFL level. He's gapping.
This is NFL.
Yeah. This dude is ridiculous. Whether he'll stay healthy or not, a lot of these fast players do get injured quite often. So remember that too. He's hot right now, but you don't.
There might be a suspension talking about, but they're saying NFL he might not get suspended, but they're talking about team-wise he might get suspended on Joe Judge.
You have any waiver wire pickups?
No.
Me as Kadarius Toney. I don't know how to agree with you. That's my waiver. I picked him up middle of the game.
No time like the present.
Yeah, I think in the middle of the game. I saw that's a 2.5 week mark. I'm gonna give him a chance.
There you go.
And that's the true advantage of watching the games live or watching it on Red Zone. You get to get that player before you finalize it at the end of the night and start picking through the waiver wire.
The funny part in our league is that the waiver wire for us does not exist. There is no waiver wire. You can pick them up in the middle of the game. As long as they're not playing on your actual active squad, you can actually pick up a player in the middle of the game if they're on your bench and pick them up and drop them up immediately. So, he was my number one go-to this week, actually, for waiver wire pickup.
You're like, that's what I do.
Get
rid of them.
Michael Carter actually had a decent game. I think he had 68 yards and a touchdown. So hopefully they let him have the ball. Just want to put that out there. Yeah, I know. But, I mean, he was something. He showed some life. This is what people have been wanting. They want to see something out of him. And he definitely showed some life. So I have him in another league, and he's just literally a stash. I'm just hoping that at the end of the year, when I need that extra flex player, he's the one. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. And it can happen. Hopefully.
Me saying a deep prayer.
Hey, when you got Mike Will, Debo Samuel, Mike Evans, and what's that quarterback that you don't like? What's his name? Kyler Murray. When you got them on your squad, when you have them on your squad, you can afford to have a stash like that, man.
Don't question me. That's fantastic.
But,
Go ahead, Chris.
What's up?
I don't know what just happened.
Me either.
He just went like dark 30. She's going to turn the microphone back on. Be like, click.
Click.
Uh,
Look. Repping that Whataburger.
Always repping, sponsored by no one.
I
but
know.
I'm going to make it shine. But no, like this year of fantasy football, I do like the league at the amount of teams that it's at right now because there are waiver wire pickups or free agent pickups.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When we're at like that team at 16 teams, if you're bad, it's hard to even get a chance to improve because all the players are already slotted or rostered, especially when the injuries start stacking up. But like,
for me, I like it in a sense because for waiver wires, I be on it. I kill everybody on the big team leagues. I'm on it, bro. And the problem is when you have like what you're saying, you have so much to choose from. Your bench is usually you're okay. You know, you there was enough players available for you to load up your bench.
yeah, and I think the biggest difference is maybe when it's not set up like this, it's easy to cut a player on IR and be like, oh, it might be 7 weeks. I
Eh,
don't have 7 weeks. I got to get
exactly.
rid of them. Now, I know I'm stashing a few and like, hey, they might be back in 3, they might be back in 6. Last year, I wouldn't have done that because there's extra players on my roster. Probably by next week, I'm going to have to start cutting a bunch of people. But right now, I like it. Even if we added 2 more teams, it would be a little harder, but still some free agents. But
No,
this
I
is
think
an
a 12
awesome
team.
balance.
I think 12 teams is perfect. I like it. It's much more balanced right now. It's like every team is loaded. If you try to make a trade, you might get screwed. So,
You might get screwed, or the other person might come back pissed. Like,
exactly.
I I
Look.
don't think we'll have any rage quits this year.
Oh no.
And that's a positive improvement.
Look. Look at what happened to Corona. Traded away Derek Carr, and then boom, Russell Wilson goes down. It's like, oh snap! I was like, I'm gonna go offer him Derek Carr again just to mess with him.
Who knows? Derek Carr might collapse in the middle of the field.
He might do that.
Like, we never
Horrible.
know with Derek Carr. It might hit him in the soul right here. It's just a matter of time, and he's back.
Yeah, sorry, I had a call about work for NSF. So,
Bro, we need the cheese. We need the cheese.
I got a tip about NSF in my old store area, so I'll try to give them a heads up.
Don't speak about Whataburger on this recorded show. So. We're not sponsored yet.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, like you get the sponsorship for him. I just need tell him I work for coupons.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Oh, you got coupons for days. You already know that, and you got the hookup for half off anyway, so it already matters for you.
I remember back in college, I did use the hell out of those taco coupons at 4 in the morning.
You're right.
And they'd be like, "Where did you get so many?" I don't ask. They're legit. I think they're about to call corporate on me. I dropped so many.
So,
but yeah, I think we've gone over everything, haven't we?
Yeah. The only thing we covered when you were out, just the size of the league, and we wanted to get your opinion of the difference in experience from a 16-team league and a 12-team league. What has been your thoughts on going back to that this season?
Well, I currently do 8 leagues right now in football, and Yahoo. That's not including outside of Yahoo.
No, that's too many.
Yes, that's. I know it's a lot.
That sounds like a job.
I will say, Melissa will tell you it's a job, and she hates it, that part of the job. But I've actually been delving into the fantasy world the last year. Going from a 16-team in our league to a 10-team, 12-team league, it's a lot different things. There's a lot of players on the waiver wire for us. I think it's a different thing for us because last year I knew we were clawing for someone to show life after a weekend. Like, it'll be snapped up real quick, especially since we had no waiver wire wait listing for it. But just this year alone, I'm in a couple of leagues, 2 leagues. One I've been playing for a couple of years. It's actually a 16-team league where you're clawing for a free agency, and the rosters are big. Not just the bench, but the starting players are big. One league is a pay league, money league. I'm actually in big money league. It's like $1,000.
That's it.
That's the grand prize for first place. The league is 20 teams. 20 teams. So I'm like, golly, how am I gonna win 20 teams? I number 1 in that league. While the league is kind of standard basic, man, you're clawing for players as well in that league. And so I'm like, it's a big difference.
That's tough.
It's tough. If you didn't draft well in a big league, you're screwed. And
Oh, yeah.
I think if you have a big league, anything over 12, you need to be doing your homework. You have to do your homework. You have to look for those hidden gems because depending on a lot of time when you draft, after the first, I always say this, no matter what, if you have a 10 team or 16 or 20 team league, the first 3 rounds are almost guaranteed to be great. It's after the first 3 rounds where you're gonna do your homework, where you're gonna draft well in round 3 to 8, 3 to 10, or you're gonna draft horribly so bad you're gonna be chasing players, and you're gonna feel like you got just like I hate to say it, you're gonna feel like you got raped, you know, and that thing. And so that's how I feel about the big leagues and small leagues. Small leagues, you can do well, you can make a mistake and be good. Um, Big leagues, man, one mistake it could cost you big time because you're chasing after that.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you that it is more competitive. You have to do your homework. There's more accountability. I like it at 12 because I feel like there's less of a chance for somebody to get angry, or it gives people hope who might be at the bottom at one part of the year
Yeah, exactly.
because you could clean up on the waiver wire and suddenly you're back in it. I like that competitive nature versus half the league giving up at week 8 and being like, I have no chance for the playoffs. Why am I even going to engage every week? And
Mm-hmm.
that makes a difference. So for the beer league, at least, I like this 12-team league right now.
But look at it this way, though. We can't say that it's all perfect because remember a couple of years ago,
No, it's not perfect.
Corona actually at one point was starting the year off 1-5, 1-6. Went on a tear in the last game of the year, won, got into the playoffs by technicality of what, points or something? Went on to win the whole championship and embarrassed me in the championship.
Yeah, that was the season I was like 12-1.
I think so. Yeah, he
Bro, I had
embarrassed
like
you. He embarrassed me. The fact. You know what? That was a year of the what you call the Weller 12 debacle.
bro. It was what happened was it was because of the reason why he got in was because the technicality was that he was in a different
Division.
division, and if we're gonna go based on numbers, he should have been there. You know, he had better numbers, and he had more
Better numbers for the division over the points.
exactly.
And
So it was something
division
like that.
rules was weighted more than points. So his
Exactly.
technicality was his division record was better because he cleaned up house late in the season.
Yeah.
And then that's why. He came in as a 6 seed, beat the number 1 seed second round, and beat a I think I was number 4 or 3 seed, or heavy champion. He beat me in that championship game. So we can't say that it can't happen. It's possible to happen. The guy was the first year in the league he won. But 12 team and 10 team leagues, yeah, it's a lot easier to. If you make a mistake in those rounds 3 to 10, you can catch back up.
Exactly.
You go 16 and 10 and 20. Better listen to this podcast show. I'm not gonna lie to you, better listen to this podcast show. I know a couple of players who've been listening to it. You better listen to this podcast show if you're playing those big leagues.
Yeah. That's funny.
Biggest surprise. I know we haven't got lineup set up this week so far. We're kind of busy, kind of early in the week. Biggest surprise going into this week, or big bold statement you have going into it. What do you have?
I don't really have one, but my prediction would be Devonta Booker goes for over 100 yards.
Really?
Yes.
Rushing or total offense?
I'd say rushing actually.
No, they're playing the Rams.
That's fine. That's why it's a bold prediction. If he gets 98, I'm still gonna be happy. So we're good. What's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction. Baltimore and the Chargers going to be into a flat-out shootout. Both teams going to score over 40 points.
Yeah. Okay.
They're playing in Baltimore. Both QBs came off crazy numbers last week. In our league, both QBs scored over 70 points. We thought Tom Brady was flying high with 5 touchdowns, scored 70. Justin Herbert said, "Hold my beer." He scored 73. And then Lamar Jackson said, "Hold up. Here's my Hennessy. Here's my Hennessy. Hold it up in the fourth quarter." And blew up for 70 points in the fourth quarter, or 60 points in the fourth quarter alone, and got 75. In our league only, not the other leagues. So, two big guys coming up. Herbert consistently through the game. Lamar Jackson in the fourth quarter, and come back from behind the season. I'm excited to see what happens.
Cool.
My pick for this week. So the team's playing is not going to be a surprise of the team that's going to win, but I do think we finally get a game out of Joe Burrow above a 2-touchdown game that we can get 3 touchdowns or 4 against this Lions defense that he's going to light them up. Or he should be able to light them up. They're already a 3.5 favorite, so they think they're going to keep it pretty close game. But, yeah, Joe Burrow, this is breakout. And not really a breakout because you look at his touchdown to interception ratio. They're not playing fantastic, and it's an 11-6 ratio right now, which is
actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good. It's a 50% ratio. That's right at pretty much what it is last year, except he's being a little more efficient, more completions this year. Joe Burrow's improving. It might not be easily seen on the field, but that's going to be my prediction is he's going to 3.
The best way to say about Joe Burrow this year, he's improving. And you may not think about it because the numbers may not. Oh, he's not putting up Kyle Murray or Justin Herbert's number. No. Compared to last year, he's more efficient.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to watch.
It's showing.
Absolutely. But I think that's the show.
Yep. So this is us signing off, guys. This is a Broken Skull. And Budweiser.
AKA Budweiser. 6-time champ. 6-time champ.
But didn't win in the last 2 weeks. All right.
And this week is the state game, so we'll have an update next week.
Good night, guys.
Oh, this is the Texas versus Oklahoma game?
No, I'm saying.